All right, are we live? Let's see here. If you can see or hear me. Did it work? Let's see. Live again? All right, beautiful. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's really good to see you here. I'm glad you could join me. Welcome once again to the beautiful, very dry, very hot desert of eastern Utah. We're out here near the town of Moab, digging in the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation with the Utah Geological Survey. There's the quarry behind me, of course. I'm glad you could make it today. If it's your very first time here, allow me to introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and you hopefully know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. That could be the preserved remains of ancient life, from everything from bacteria to fossil whales, from trees to fossil salamanders, invertebrates, fossil plankton, fungi, anything. But I work on dinosaurs, hence dinosaur paleontologist. And that's what we're doing here. Normally, during the rest of the year, when I'm not out in the field, I'm streaming from my office. Talking about some of the latest fossil news, going over new scientific publications, interviewing other paleontologists remotely, doing art and illustrations and 3D modeling and 3D printing. But it's summertime, of course, so I'm out here, out in the desert, digging up dinosaurs, and I'm lucky enough to be able to bring you along for the ride. So I'm glad you're here. We're digging up what's almost certainly a new species, or maybe even a new genus of iguanodont dinosaur from the very beginning of the Cretaceous period. And I'll show you what we've got today. And let's see who is here. I think I saw Paleo Mom in chat earlier. Hello, Mom. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Golganak, Rhacodactylus, Danish Viking, Pyro Kitty, Regbot, Crimson Carnotaurus, Liz TL67, hello to you. Welcome. The Dinosaur Man, how are you doing? Arle, good to see you too. Hope you're having a good day. Doki Doki Baka, Zook, Rage Master, how are you all doing? It's good to have you. Given that this is a science outreach broadcast, the whole point is to be able to show you how we do our work as paleontologists, what this is all about. If you've got any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask them. That's the beauty of Twitch, is that there's that live interactivity. If you've got questions, I've got answers for you, I hope. And it's not just me. We've got several dinosaur paleontologists in the quarry right now, including the state paleontologist of Utah, Jim Kirkland. Also Karen Poole and Don DeBlue and Ethan Cowgill. And anyway, yeah. Let's go take a look at the quarry in a minute, but let me first see if anybody's got any questions. Got any target species out there? Where do you hope to find most? So we already know what we're digging up, and we think a new species of iguanodont dinosaur. Pretty similar to like iguanodon. It's a big beaky plant-eating dinosaur. We're digging in some really important rocks, some stuff that's largely unexplored at the very, very beginning of the Cretaceous period. And holy cow, there goes my router and...
Direct hit.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
A dust devil?
Yep.
Yeah. I got something in the face, but it was a scoop.
Okay.
Did I talk about Rip, or are we
I was more worried about a pole stabbing me.
I think it was just a pole over there
No
came
way
down.
I can leap up anymore.
Yep.
My dancing to the poles.
There we go. Let's see.
We lost them.
Got that nail? Yeah. And then where's our line? Where did that go? Did it tear it out of the ground?
Yeah, but I think that's the rope.
Oh, okay.
So we can just replace
Cool.
that easily enough.
Uh,
Oh, I'm gonna jump down right there.
There we go. You got it?
Actually, can you hold the pole for a second?
Hold the pole for a second? You got it, yeah.
I'll take the tarp.
So I got a camera in one hand.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Karen.
Yep. There we go. Attention there.
All right. Live broadcast. Anything could happen. My router got knocked down over here. I'm glad we didn't lose connection. But yeah. Sometimes we just get these sudden gusts of wind, what we call dust devils. So yeah, it happens. Oh, and there's Ken over there. Ken's taking off. Shoot, we missed him. He said he was going to take off in like half an hour, but it's not even been 20 minutes. Oh well. But yeah, life in the field. Yes, indeed, Zook. That's how it goes. Yeah. Let's take a look at our questions here. From Captain Pugwash says, when you look at today's species, there tends to be one or two strains of each species. No, it really depends on what you're talking. Like some critters, there's thousands of species. Sometimes there's hundreds or thousands of species in the same genus, like is the case with ants. That's kind of an artifice of just the way that they've been named. But anyway, sometimes there's really, really speciose groups, and sometimes there's a group that's just a single species and there's no close relatives. So it really depends. Why, when looking at dinosaurs, are there many strains? I know my categories are probably worded incorrectly, but hopefully you know what I mean. It depends. There are certain dinosaur families where we've got tons and tons of species that we've discovered and studied and named so far. And there's certain groups where there's just a couple, you know? So it really depends. Yeah. It's, it depends, you know? And you're welcome, Captain Pugwash. You're welcome. Thanks for asking your question. Let's see. Live fieldwork complications. Yes, indeed, Anakin Gabriel. But, yeah. Akila, good to see you, too. Law 2 says, really wish there were more fossils in Sweden. Yeah. I don't know if there are any I think there's like one dinosaur named from Sweden. Maybe there's 0. I'm not sure. But yeah, you've got other fossils. I am certain, just not a lot of terrestrial Mesozoic rocks. Maybe rocks that would hold dinosaur fossils, in particular. And and Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, very nice. Interviewed at the Museum of Ancient Life in Thanksgiving Point and Lehigh. Very cool, Rex. What are you guys digging up? We're digging up some iguanodontian dinosaurs here. What should hopefully be a whole new iguanodont. So something kind of similar to Iguanocolossus, but distinctly different. We talked about that a bit yesterday with Karen, who's going to be leading the charge and the researcher. But yeah. And Shamaron says, "How is the location you're digging at found?" Jim Kirkland, who's in the quarry here, the Utah State paleontologist, and Don DeBlue and a few other paleontologists were looking at some geological maps and found this particular place. Realized that, some of these rocks might be kind of mismapped as Morrison Formation, when in fact they're Cedar Mountain Formation. They wanted to ground truth that. They wanted to come check on that. So they did. They came out to this valley here, started looking around for fossils, and they started finding things. And that was about 20 years ago, something like that? No. Was it earlier than that? Might have been closer to 30 years ago. But anyway, they really came here and started looking in earnest about 20 years ago. Started finding bone all over the valley floor, which is unusual. Usually you find fossils eroding out of rapidly eroding surfaces. They might be up there, like on the sides of the hills that kind of hem in this valley here. That wasn't the case here. They walked all around there, didn't find much, but walking back to the vehicles, they started finding bone. And it was all over the place. Clearly, some of this stuff was worth looking at, worth collecting. And so that's exactly what they did, and turns out this is a really, really special site. There's a bone bed that extends from, here most of the way across the valley, which is pretty incredible. It's not very pretty bone. It's not the sort of thing, thankfully, that like rockhounds would be interested in. So we haven't had, you know, there's not too much danger of poaching, I guess, around here. It just wouldn't be worth the poacher's time. But it's definitely worth our time as paleontologists. And since these dinosaurs are some of the oldest Cretaceous dinosaurs in the world, they're really scientifically important. Let's go talk about that. And Link for Real says, hey from Salt Lake. Well, hello from near Moab, Link for Real. Good to have you here. Yeah. And Florian says, what was the first hint it was a new species? Great question. I don't know if there is like a solid, easy answer for that. You really need like a combination of different things. Like you need several different, I don't know, unique features that you look at that tells you that it's something new. And this stuff is not yet published, so I can't really, can't really give you a lot of details on that. But suffice it to say that this has got some characteristics that are unlike any other iguanodontian dinosaur. That's what Karen was talking about yesterday, and maybe we can get her to repeat her answer again today. We'll see. But yeah, let's get into the quarry, shall we? And currently a geology student. Very cool, Kava. Well, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Kava, are you familiar with Dice in Dinosaurs channel? Filippo Bertozzo is an Italian paleontologist, and he usually streams in Italian. You should check out his channel. I think you'd really like it. Can we get a shout out for Dice in Dinosaur? And from Tone Rebellion, is there solid evidence about dinosaur reproductive anatomy? Only a little bit. We've got every reason to think that dinosaurs had a cloaca, like modern birds and crocodilians. And we've only got like one fossilized cloaca that we know of on that smuggled Psittacosaurus specimen. But yeah. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot of hard evidence there. Those are soft bits, and they do not preserve very well usually. And Crimson Carnotaurus, that's definitely the case that a lot of those northern U.S. states had their Mesozoic strata wiped away by glaciers. Yeah.
A lot of ways, it's kind of nice.
If you're talking about like the upper Midwest,
Between the sauropod level
like Minnesota and surrounding areas, yeah. Anyway, let's get down into the quarry here.
and so barren.
Let me get to work.
It would slow it down a lot if there was a lot of chunks.
Let's see.
It really is.
That's where I've been working. Remember the beautiful humerus that I had yesterday and the preceding days? Finally got to put a cap on that. So that's right here. Get these plant pieces out of the way. But yeah, so just got a nice little gypsona top jacket on there to protect it so it doesn't get damaged. And then I'll be working on this today, just kind of removing some more of the rock around here. And then maybe can even put some side strips on it. And, well, I don't know. We'll see. That might be a tomorrow morning thing. But I'll also be clearing away some of this rock over here. Yeah, good stuff. See, Fisher, can we show off what you've got over here?
Yeah, this is all from last year.
Nice. Oh, yeah, you took the top jacket off.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's not super beautiful.
Well, I mean, it's nice that the top jacket's
It's
off.
pretty
because
gnarly.
We can see the bone.
yeah.
It is a little gnarly, but yeah.
Stuff here, and then this I got on covered earlier
Ooh,
today.
that is intriguing.
Yeah.
Looks almost like a neural spine
Yeah.
or a transverse process, possibly.
And, there's
And then there's this guy. What is
vertical
that?
piece sticking out right next to it.
Yeah. Looks kind of verty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transverse process or something.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Nice. Thanks, Fisher. Cool. Yeah, look at all this area that we've got now. It's really nice that we were able to do some overburden yesterday and get some more of this stuff cleared off, get down to the bone layer.
You're wandering around, Danny, keeping out for my baseball cap.
Well, and of course,
It disappeared during the Dust Devil. Oh, there it is. Wow, you're good, man. Ask and you shall receive.
Thanks, Don.
I
Yeah.
looked all around it. Look over there. There.
Got your hat? Nice.
Yeah, it was just
Serious.
over in
Yeah.
the spot.
Oh, can we take a look at Don's running shirt of the day?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is our running series. Don's running shirt of the
It
day.
was just, I mean, that's just a squatter's ale thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's some sort of vet.
Nice. Benefiting the Utah Animal Assisted Therapy
There you
Association.
go.
Very nice. Yeah.
Did that one a couple times over at
Cool. Yeah.
Wheeler
Oh,
Farm.
too many bones.
Don's a big time athlete, so he's got a lot. How many different running shirts do you think you've gotten over the years? If you had to take a wild guess. How many dozens, I wonder?
How many?
Probably,
how many?
I've probably done somewhere between 500 and 600 races over the last 40 years, but
And you get a shirt for each one?
not always. I mean, a lot of those are non-running races, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I've probably over 200.
Wow. That's impressive.
Over 200 old. That's why I can break them out from like the 90s, and
Exactly, yeah.
a lot of them just eventually. When if they're really nice running
Dinosaur
shirt, they're
shorts,
kind of like a dress T-shirt for a while.
Uh-huh.
Then they become a little bit older, and then when they get a little more beat up, they become a field T-shirt, and
Yeah.
then eventually they get burned in the fire or
That's pretty much what I
incorporated
had.
Into a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the old fraying, slightly holy shirts, bring them in the field, and then burn them.
I'm sure that
Yep.
some of them went to the DI or the Goodwill.
Yeah. And dress T-shirts are integral. They are geek store. I agree. Yeah. I'm just realizing too that my solar panels went kind of askew. Partly because I didn't move them, and partly from the wind. Let's go fix those, and then let me get to work here. I want to make sure that our solar battery doesn't get drained. Let's make sure these are actually facing the sun, shall we? Yeah. Yeah, look. Oh, the wind really did a number on these. Face the sun with these. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with sunlight. Okay. And let's see. 93%. 107 watts in. That's good. That should hold pretty much steady. Scoot this over just a bit though. Yeah. Yeah, neat. Enough power to run a small town. Very small town, you know. If by town you mean one satellite dish and one battery that I'm charging for the streaming gear, then yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And what do you eat out there when you're in the field, Rage Master asks? We eat pretty well, actually. I don't know, I always have a protein shake for breakfast. This morning I also had a banana, which is nice. For lunch, it's kind of, I don't know, pretty simple fare. Usually like a sandwich, an apple, some chips, maybe a granola bar, some little gummy fruit snacks. It's a typical lunch out here. I usually make a little wrap out of like a tortilla and some cheese and some lettuce and mustard. That's my sandwich. And then for dinner, we actually have our like one hot meal of the day. And so last night for us vegetarians, it was veggie burgers. And for the non-vegetarians, it was sausage and mac and cheese. Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely go through a lot of tortillas. Yeah. Yeah, hope that answers your question. Let me get some water. I'm gonna bring my bag over here. And we'll get to work finally.
Sternal.
Huh.
Sternal.
Undefeated.
That's taxidermy info in it.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was named taxidermy.
Oh no. No. No, but it's the classic hatchet-shaped journal.
All right.
Informative.
Let's see where I can put this down.
Yeah, Danny, you might want to show them this. This is pretty,
Yeah, I can. Okay.
it's pretty bone.
Let's go see what Jim's got over there.
Completely exposed. Always nice when
They just sort of pop up.
they pop up and they're pretty and they're,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's a sternal.
All right. Can anybody in the chat guess what a sternal is? What part of the body that is? It's the same part of a dinosaur as it is of you, so it's relevant information. Like most of these things are. Yeah, but I guess we do only have one, huh?
Yeah, we've got one midline.
Yeah, and they've got two.
Yeah, and they have like kind of where your pecs are,
Yeah.
basically.
You see this right here, this hatchet?
Beautiful, yeah.
It's a sternal of the iguanodont.
Very nice.
There's another bone going under it, which we don't know what that is.
Ah.
But this, from the chest, that's the sternal for this beast. And it's the bigger one, the nice big one we got.
Yeah. That's a nice. It's a good sized animal.
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm happy.
Jim just uncovered that, like an hour ago, something like that?
Yeah.
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 So,
Peel it down.
nice. And that's why
Come
it's so
off the
important
top.
to, like you say, to
Do a
work
big
down
flat
from the top.
area.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just peel it. Don't
Yep.
dig in the side.
Yeah.
You got to pick an edge, but you see there's a fracture there that we're squaring off against the fractures,
Yeah.
which are natural, but they always not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But they give us a reasonable edge. But yeah, that's nice. I'm
Yeah.
happy, and there'll be more under this whole area.
Let me go grab my skeletal diagram and I can point out
Show 'em off.
what this bone is. So here we go. There's an iguanodont. This is iguanodon, namesake for the group. The sternal is right there. That bone behind the humerus on the diagram. So it's in the middle of the chest right there. You got your sternals, you got your coracoids, and you got your scapula. That's your shoulder blade right there. So yeah. Our critter is not iguanodon proper. It's another member of this family, one that hasn't been named yet. So we're pretty excited about that.
Probably really primitive.
Yeah. Shoot, because this critter's like 20 million years older than iguanodon.
Yeah, this is like a couple million years younger than Camptosaurus.
Yeah,
Or
it's,
maybe
it's close,
Cumaria, yeah.
closer in time to Camptosaurus than to Iguanodon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Which
certainly
doesn't necessarily tell you the phylogeny, but
yeah.
Can give you a hint at least.
yeah.
Yeah, early on, an idea, we didn't know what we had. We were thinking it might be different than the stuff south of the Green River where we had iguana colossus. And so when we got a pubis, we realized the pubis had this very distinctive upturn going forward, which iguana colossus has. And so, we were told, it's iguana colossus, and we were thinking it's probably all the same age. And, working on it, and then we start figuring out, these are a stack of faunas that we're getting out here. This is quite a fair bit older. This might be a couple million years older than iguana colossus. 2 or something right after the Jurassic.
Wrap this guy up in
And it turns out that this upturned also in Camptosaurus.
Right.
So it's a shared primitive character.
Nice.
So it's like kind of useless for differentiating.
Doesn't tell you much. Yeah.
And Karen's noticed other characters that seem to separate them pretty well, which is pretty interesting. But
Very nice.
yeah, it's only gelling out. This will probably be eventually a hallmark dinosaur because we're gonna have so many skeletons. And a growth series from little bitty ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we get femora that are only this long. And we've got them this long.
From this critter we've got that
Yeah.
one?
Yep.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Like 2/3 of a meter?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, and
Wow.
this
They
is
got
for
big.
this is for the big one.
Yeah.
It's almost certainly. We don't know if that's maximum size.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of histologic work done on the stuff, not the biggest stuff, but going up toward it, because one of our tests were, can we see if this thing is growing into iguanocolossus?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, 'cause we were thinking it might be the same thing. And that
Could be
was a
juvenile,
test. But that stuff ended up never getting published. And we certainly want to do one of the big femora. You know, for sure.
You mean do
Yeah,
a
the
histo
big tibia.
section?
the
Yeah,
histo,
awesome.
The biggest stuff, too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the medium and small stuff done already. And the slides, cross sections, limb bones, thin sections, are all archived at the University of Utah.
I didn't realize that was done already. That's
all
awesome.
done. Don,
Holy cow,
molded
yeah.
and casted all those bones.
Yeah, yeah,
So
nice.
it could be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
That's exciting.
There's a
I
big
mean,
step
shoot,
in that
a whole
direction.
growth series of this animal here from this quarry.
Yeah,
That's super exciting.
yeah.
Ontogeny, you know? Yeah.
What's left of it. Yeah.
Oh.
That works.
Somebody in the chat was asking what the toilet paper is for.
Wrapping fossils.
Yeah.
The little
Here.
stuff.
Here, we've got a
As a
bundle right here.
separator.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, beautiful.
All right, so we've got a
Nice.
little fossil here. It's still waiting to get put in the map, but it was loose, so we wrap it up in toilet paper and then some masking tape. We'll label it on the masking tape so we know where it came from. And
And you
that's-
see that little
and-
vial right there. That's got a small but well-preserved piece of bone, isolated. It was broken before burial.
Yeah.
That we extracted without putting any glue on it whatsoever.
Oh, so we could do
So
like chemical
geochemistry.
testing?
So
Yeah.
that can go geochem.
Nice.
You know, there's a cortical bone, there's internal open weave bone. It's just probably a little rib section or something. You know, it's a little partial chunk of a shaft or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other thing we use toilet paper for is, like, you can see those caps, and I think you were talking
Yeah.
about one before.
Uh-huh.
But you don't want to put that plaster right on the fossil
Yep.
because it's hard to
No.
get back off.
Yeah.
So we use here we use toilet paper as a separator. So you kind of lay toilet paper over the bone. You take a wet brush like this, and
all
just
those
wet
nooks
it a
and
little bit so it'll
crannies,
stick.
Yeah.
And then you put that gypsona or plaster cap on it.
Yeah.
And that way, when they're working on it in the lab, they'll be able to actually get the bone away from that plastic jacket.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this hunter found a skeleton of a carnivorous mammal, Eocene, up above Palisade, Colorado, in the not Mount Garfield, Grand Mesa area, near town of Colburn. And he said, I got a dinosaur skeleton articulated right off this trail that all the hunters take, going up to look for elk and deer. And talks to the paleontologist, and says, "No, we know there's no dinosaurs. Eocene, no dinosaurs."
Yeah.
Couldn't get. I said, "You really should go check it out. Talk to the guy.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's got a skeleton." I don't care, And he talked to a commercial guy. And the commercial guy described to him, well, this is how you collect it. But the guy put plaster directly on the entire top side of this skeleton.
Oh,
Turns out to be an oxyenid carnivore with skull, creodont.
Yeah, yeah.
About a mountain lion size animal. Fully articulated from just in front of the hips, all the way, 4 legs, skull, everything.
Shoot.
Plaster. And the guy prepped it, this commercial guy prepped it for him. And then he donated to me, and then I made sure it got to the Museum of Western Colorado.
Nice.
Where nearby where it was excavated. And it's actually quite a nice specimen.
So they're able to actually prep the plaster
Yeah, they
off,
got
even
the
though he didn't do
plaster off,
separator.
It's
Yeah.
just harder.
Yeah, it
makes life
definitely adds a lot more extra work when you've got to prep plaster off
This
of bone.
guy didn't, and I couldn't talk their paleontologist into going, and I wasn't there. I was like just visiting.
Yeah.
It was like where I was working. So it's just, you really should go look at it. Could be important. It could be, a really horse or something. I didn't know it was going to be a carnivore, with a skull.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's, you never know.
Yeah.
What's going to be found. You gotta listen to people when they come in.
Yep.
Maybe rocks or it may be gold.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Let me go over there and get back to work. Keep on digging.
Yeah.
But thanks, Jim. This is exciting.
It's nice.
Big old start.
I'm gonna have my sandwich because I put off my sandwich
Nice.
to
Yeah.
uncover that a little more. But yep, that'll be there for a couple days.
Nice. Nice.
Hopefully get around it, put a cap on it. That bone under it's gonna slow us down. No doubt. Just go around that.
All right. Bring this back over here.
Oh, sure.
And let's see. We can bring it back and forth.
Yeah, I know.
Not hard.
It's a lot easier for me sitting. The circulation I got in my body anymore. I see, even sitting like this, my legs just going to sleep.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Anonymous says, must have been so frustrating for him that nobody believed him. Yeah, I mean, shoot, that's like Jim says, why you gotta listen to people.
Follow up.
Yeah, you know, 95% of the time it turns out to be nothing, but that 5%, you don't want to miss that 5%, you know? And also, it's just pays to show people respect, too, you know?
Just trying to be good, you know? It's like, we're trying to be good. Treat them good, so maybe next time they'll find something. You know? Get a little more educated in the process.
Do you want us to collect this?
All right.
fragment?
Let me drink some cold water, too. But that is
Oh,
our
that guy.
humerus, the one that I found the other day.
Some of those maybe we should
I put a
maybe have a bag of
protective gypsona cap on it right here.
Mud my legs.
And so, yeah, I can start working around this a little bit, clearing away some of this rock.
Frags from
I mean, hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to collect that.
Yeah, I mean like from this corner.
Or maybe, shoot, tomorrow we're going on a little road trip dealy. So I guess Wednesday.
Fisher's got some
But yeah, I don't know. It's good that I've got that cap now.
dirty crap.
What is this?
Spectacular.
That's not ideal. You still going?
Man, it's knee hurts.
Okay. And Florian says, is the plaster just for protection during transport? Yeah, or also in the quarry to a certain extent too. But yeah.
Keeps
So-
it from flexing.
Yeah. Yeah, these things have been in the ground for 140 million years. As soon as you expose them, stuff can go bad. So you want to make sure you protect them as much as you can. I'm going to move this over here.
Yeah, they don't flex.
Yeah.
Probably half of the fossils that were collected the very first year here are still sitting intact.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Shoot.
Oh yeah, we've
They're right on the
we've
surface.
probably, I mean, maybe 20 to 25% of the things have actually been prepared.
Same is true with the Falcaris
That might
site.
even
My
be,
bucket.
even be generous.
We were certainly not digging in the best area for the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, keep grabbing that orange.
Yeah.
Thanks. So that should have
Sun. So one of the things that's important to do when you're working at a site like this is just keeping the surfaces as clean as you can. Makes it easier to spot little bits of bone. Yeah. And if you're like me, you know, just having a lot of clutter in an area can kind of stress you out a little bit. So having a clean surface is important.
Yep, that's where you find the bone.
Yep.
It's right in your mess. But that's another advantage when you get down into the fresh rock.
Mm-hmm.
It cleans better.
Right.
You know, you're up in the weathered stuff. It's just always stays
Falling
dirt.
apart, yeah. Yeah.
This stuff, you know, it's pretty nice, platey. You know, a plate can split through your bone, some, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
and it's so much more competent when you come across stuff. You know, you can come up with a battle plan that works. You know, when you're shallow, we have all those mud cracks right through the site, you know, for meters into the site, full of dirt and mud and all secondarily cemented. Oh, ugly. And when a bone comes up against one of those,
Yeah.
this it really is so much better. I just wish it was a nice ankylosaur here. Keep me happy.
Do we have any Anki material from this particular quarry?
We got probably a couple of little ossicles. You know, they wash in with the pebbles in.
Uh-huh.
You know, but you know, over by Don's place and the bend where we got the pelvis. And, you know, we have parts of 3 ankylosaurs over there. You know, based on Pelday.
Ethan, was there still TP up there? Or?
I threw it back over to Jim.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not much though.
Sit down. I got this thing way up here. Trying to figure out if it's a bone nugget or if I should really hunt for. I mean, it looks
Well, given the
like
dip,
it's
you could be up at the sauropod level there.
It's at the end. Yeah, but I got it from like up here, which is like a 9 centimeters above the highest one I got there.
Yeah, Ethan, you know, we found stuff like coming out of the bottom of the wash.
Yeah.
You know, and you're a bit lower than that still, but it could be stuff anywhere. You know, we have.
Right. You may have like a. Little linear. Yeah, it does look familiar.
But there sure is a barren zone between that upper level
Yeah,
and this
just like-
level.
So it just popped out
That's
just now.
telling Karen that's kind of nice.
You can just dig right through, not have to worry,
You know,
yeah.
like, you know, you go over to Jim's place. There's like 3 levels of bone, pretty close to each other, and you know, the upper 2 levels there's a lot more crud than the 3rd level. But there's good stuff too. So it slows way that down.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
SW Scott says, do you ever feel bad about disturbing bones that have been sitting there for so long? I mean, we're
Let's not
saving
even go
them.
there.
Disturbing their privacy.
Yeah.
The privacy of these bones.
We're disturbing Mother Earth. I'm sorry, Mom.
But I mean, these would be eroded away and destroyed if we weren't going to, you know, collect them. It might take a while, the deeper we dig, you know, for those bones to eventually get exposed by erosion and then just crumble
this
to death.
entire region's going to end up in the Pacific someday.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where it's going, and then stopping.
Just Nevada just ripped in half, right? The
Yeah,
whole
well,
rift
you know, it's
on.
going down the Colorado River. The whole Colorado Plateau is erosional,
Right.
which is why we get all these great outcrops.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like all of this sediment will
that erosion
eventually.
is going to keep eroding until it gets to sea level.
Yep. Or something changes and it becomes a depositional environment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if it even does that, it's probably temporary. You know, and then it'll go back to erosion until it gets close. When you close to sea level, then you can get into systems where it's depositional
Yeah.
for long stretches of time. You know, if you want to be a fossil, get buried in New Orleans. If you get buried deep, it's going to pop up.
Right.
You know. But yeah, lower Mississippi Valley, that's just filling in more and more. Get buried deeper and deeper.
And let's see. Prince Nanerda wants to know, did long-necked sauropods have long necks to reach leaves from tall trees? It depends which ones we're talking about. Yeah. Some of them would have been feeding pretty much at ground level most of the time.
Lawnmowers on sticks.
Yeah. Things like Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, aka Brontosaurus.
Nigersaurus.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, with that wide, like, vacuum
Oh yeah, that's a
cleaner
grazer.
nozzle
Man.
mouth.
That's a serious grazer.
Um,
No, that's the trend they have. The Diplodocids were going to be grazers. You know,
So they were probably sweeping their necks across a wide arc just at, you know, ground level. Just snipping plants like that, take a few more steps, snip all the plants in that wide arc, and then do it again, you know, just like that for much of the day probably, while they're awake.
by most.
Yeah. takes a lot of plants to feed an animal's bulk that big. But some, like macronarian sauropods, like brachiosaurs, maybe some titanosaurs too, were probably feeding at height, I would imagine.
Yeah, I bet titanosaurs are feeding variable heights. I think they basically got a strategy. They got pencil-like teeth.
Yeah.
But and some of them just like the placket teeth. My goodness. Convergent as heck because they come out of a brachiosaur tooth.
Right.
Really. But then there's groups that always develop slender spade-like teeth. But their teeth still, I think all of them, go down along their cheeks quite a bit. Or diplodocines just end up losing all the sides. They're all up the front.
Bless you. Do you think Camarasaurus was feeding at height, conifers and stuff? They got those big, chunky, spoon-like teeth.
As do brachiosaurs and pterosaurs. But pterosaurs, they have brachiosaur-like teeth up front.
Yeah.
Then these cardiodont teeth, cheek teeth that kind of recurve.
Kind of heart-shaped?
Yeah, that's how they call them. They call them cardiodont. They're not that heart-shaped, but they have this. They're very distinctive. When I saw the first one I ever saw,
Anatomical heart.
I was like, I've never seen a sauropod tooth like this before. Immediately I knew it was something weird. It's like, this is a whole group, characteristic of the Jurassic of Europe. In North Africa, they've got them in. And they've got them definitely, I think they got one in the Wealden now. So they go right up through the early Cretaceous in Europe too. Just, they're not as common.
Let's see, Snapping Neuron says, I think in reference to Jim, he's like a dinosaur Santa.
Yeah. What happens after 50 years?
I don't know. I think Jim knows a lot more about dinosaurs than Santa Claus knows about Christmas. So.
It's a broader
Or at least
field.
they're comparable, if not.
It's a broader field, not as specialized, more eclectic.
Let's see. And Nazun says, do you try to uncover as much of the fossil as possible, or do you focus on digging around it so you can lift up and get it back to the lab? Both? I guess mostly the latter? I don't know. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Yeah.
I want to see the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with this, so we're not going to be in the quarry tomorrow. At least I'm not going to be. And so I'm going to probably leave this here, over tomorrow, and then on Wednesday I'll be digging around this so that we can put some proper burlap around the sides, and then I can kind of undercut it, and eventually we can flip it when we feel comfortable there. And then we can extract this humerus. It's an
If
upper
this
arm
thing
bone.
fills with water, it'll survive through it all right.
Well, with the top jacket
The
on?
shale, yep.
Yeah.
And it's not just the top jacket, it's just the nature of this rock. It softens it, no doubt. But
It's not gonna turn
It
to-
doesn't go the gumbo
Yeah.
like other clays.
Not like in the
do.
Morrison or something like that.
Now, this is, in a lot of ways, a very benign quarry.
Yeah.
I got more. If I heard rain when I would be sleeping out by that site, if I heard rain hitting the top of the trailer, I had just nightmares. I'd be running around out there in my underwear if I hadn't had covered that quarry. Because it obliterate everything. The clay swells up and takes the bone with it.
Was that site you were telling me about one time where they had a Camptosaurus?
Jaw, they had this whole jaw that blew into a million pieces. I was ticked. I wanted to pull their permit, and Scott Sampson was on state land. And Scott, was in charge of repositories at the time. It was kind of benign, and said, let's switch the repository to Cincinnati. And, Glenn went to the site once.
Glenn Storrs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Only once.
Glenn Storrs, whom we saw earlier in the summer. He was on stream.
Yeah, and Glenn's a great guy. I've always liked Glenn a lot.
Yeah.
We tried to get Glenn hooked up on Don's Ridge, but I think that was a bit much for him. Sometimes the returns on this are a little stingier. But we gave him a good site. It's still, I think, a good site and deserves considerably more work. But they were there in July with no shade.
Oh, man.
And they had a picture of them. They posted a picture. They're all grizzly, like 2-week-long period. Him and his son, it's just two of them. And they were like red, beet red. They're never coming back. And they never came back.
Oh, man. tarps like this might seem like a luxury jet, but they're essential for working efficiently out here and, you know, not dying while you're doing field work. So thank you, Don.
Actually, for these, I mean, Harvard used them. We worked under shade, you know, in the Kayenta back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But George Callison found the White Tar conduit corner system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then we stole it from him. He actually gave me 2 sets of, we still got 1 set, I think,
Nice.
of the old aluminum corners that they had hand welded
Oh,
by this guy who worked on airplanes.
that's an artifact there. That's
Yeah.
yeah, and aluminum welding is.
Yeah, they were
like a
aluminum welder,
specialized,
specialized.
yeah. That should be in a museum someday.
Yeah, we still got them. I'm not sure if Callison has any more of those exist anywhere before we got. In fact, we still got the 4.
Yeah.
But they worked. So.
Well, let's see. From Sulfurian. Sorry, I missed that the first time. What are the main types of tissue samples a pathologist might examine, and what are some of the common diseases? Sulfurian, are you trying to? Is this an essay question or something like that? You're trying to do? Are you taking a test? I don't know. I'm not really familiar with pathology as a field of study.
Yeah, cancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce is it Rathburn? Rothschild. Yeah, Bruce Rothschild. Him and Darren Tankey wrote a whole book on pathologies in bone, and Bruce has published numerous papers on cancers in bones.
Oh,
Off the record. Yeah.
He didn't do the Centrosaurus fibula with the big cancerous growth on it, did he?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked with Tankey, the Alberta folks, forever.
Oh,
But he
okay.
works everywhere. He's like that guy in the world. You
Uh-huh.
have a cancerous bone, people just send it to him.
Interesting.
And have for 30 years.
That's pretty cool.
Good guy. And knows his stuff. He's a doctor
Mm-hmm.
that likes paleo, and he works on cancer and bone problems. He knows bone well. He's got to open that whole field up. He wasn't a trained paleontologist. Carl Hirsch.
I talk about this all the time. Like, you don't have to be a paleontologist to contribute to paleontology.
I mean, dinosaur egg science. Carl Hirsch put that whole science together.
Really?
Yeah.
Looking at like the micro stuff on.
Yeah, no one knew
eggshell?
anything about eggs. He started finding some eggs. And self-taught them, read stuff, looked at them, had access to an SEM. He worked at Rocky Flats, the draftsman at the Weapons Research Center there. He made all the hydrogen bomb triggers. He didn't do it. He was a draftsman. But he basically, dinosaur egg science, he basically did it. And a lot of their young women, Emily Bray and whatnot, they're all, interned with him, learned this stuff and carried it on.
Does she know why this doesn't work? No.
But yeah, it's all top.
If you
Nice.
Does it ever work?
squeeze the bottle, it's not full. I mean, it's just like.
And Sulfurian, yeah, you bet. Sorry, I hope that didn't sound flippant, but I
What?
don't know anything about pathology,
Just squeeze and pump. See the water.
No, there's some good stuff in the bones.
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, they just published, Terry Woodruff just published that paper on the pneumatic disease, the pneumonia disease.
Oh, yeah. And that diplodocid, yeah.
In diplodocid neck.
We talk about that all the
Stars
time
of
on
the
my
bone.
channel when we're talking about pneumaticity and
Well,
that poor Dolly.
see that in birds.
The disease-induced diplodocid. You say diplodocid or diplodocid, Jim?
I'd say diplodocid. I used to call them like diplodocus when I was a kid. Took a dinosaur class in grad school from Edwin H. Colbert,
Uh-huh.
who was my hero growing up.
Yeah.
Every time I opened my mouth, Colbert would correct my pronunciation.
Really?
Every time. No Professor Kirkland exists.
You say Deinonychus rather than Deinonychus, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jack
My
Horner
friend-
does the same thing.
Yeah, well, John Ostrom said that too.
Well, Glenn Storrs said that he said Deinonychus. that's what Ostrom
well, Ned
said.
Colbert. I learned it from Ned Colbert.
Yeah. It's, tomato, potato.
No, it's like forams. There's a Cenomanian foram that goes extinct. It's the Cenomanian Extinction Bounty.
Yeah?
We call it Rotalipora.
Uh-huh.
And in Europe, they call it Rotalipora. and that's the way it is.
Yep. I've heard that the French pronounce Australopithecus Australopithecus.
Yeah. Well, Pachycephalosaurus.
Triceratops.
Yeah.
Triceratops.
Hard C's. Hard C's.
If you go back to the original Latin pronunciations, all C's are hard, so it should be Triceratops.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But nobody says that. Don't start. I mean,
I'm not going to. Yeah.
But they do call it.
Rhinoceros.
You hear Susie Maidment or these guys talk about it? Pachycephalosaurus.
She says Pachycephalosaurus.
I've heard her say it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think a lot of the Brits say that.
Interesting. Let's see. Oh, and we got a raid from Coach Tomas, was it? Oh, no, from Hoot House Livestream. Hoot House Livestream, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. I hope you're doing well. Hope the owls are all doing well, and there's the Septerids too. What are the red-tailed hawks, I believe? Yeah, there's a channel on Twitch where it's just maybe I've told you about this, but it's like an infrared camera inside of an owl nest box.
Oh yeah.
So you get to see these barn owls grow up
yeah.
and see the parents like deliver food to them and stuff. And it's a 24/7
Yeah.
thing. It's really neat. So check out Hoot House Livestream if any of you who are here already before the raid have not yet seen that channel. Check it out. Good stuff. Yeah. You've heard Ceratosaurus? Interesting, Dinosaur Dave. I've never heard that.
What?
Ceratosaurus? Ceratosaur?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ceratosaurus.
I wouldn't doubt it. You know, some Brits have said that.
Yeah, yeah. And is it common with misunderstandings between international paleontologists when it comes to pronouncing the names differently? I don't think so. I don't think there's
I
been...
think we figure it out.
Yeah. We can
Well,
use context clues. We're
Giganotosaurus.
scientists, you know?
That's what, you know.
Yeah.
Rodolfo Coria named it. He calls it Giganotosaurus.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you name it, you have the right to pronounce it the way you fed.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I look at it. But I was looking at hearing a blog or something just the other day. You know, Gigantosaurus. You know, like.
Oh, boy.
My
Yeah.
8-year-old
That's
nephew
just incorrect.
insists it is Gigantosaurus.
Oh yeah, a lot of
He is
people.
correct, and
Well-
I, the paleontologist, am incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how 8-year-olds are, you know? They're never
Yep,
wrong.
exactly. He knows
Yeah.
best. It's fine.
No, but Gigantosaurus was, that's what the Germans called one of those sauropods from Tendaguru, I think. Right?
Yeah, I don't think the name didn't.
Yeah, I think it was preoccupied. There was like a sauropod from India or something. Probably something real scrappy that I think Von Huena or somebody may have named it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Somebody check and look it up.
Dinoraptor is still available.
What is?
Dinoraptor.
Dinoraptor?
I almost named Utah Raptor Dinoraptor. Terrible raptor. No, much as I hate to admit it, Bacher suggested Utah Raptor,
Oh, really?
and I was getting a lot of grief from the former state paleontologist
Uh-huh.
about work, because I was on state land,
Uh-huh.
and I was in Colorado. And so I said, maybe if I name it after Utah, they'll like me better. Certainly got me this job, so. Thank you,
Nice.
Bob.
Yeah.
You know. But I love Bob. He has published that he named Utah Raptor.
Yeah.
There's a difference in suggesting a name and naming it. I know they're both action verbs, but
Right. Well, yeah, shoot, I should clarify that for anybody watching, that, like, when we say, you know, we're naming a dinosaur, that means that we're publishing on it in the scientific literature. It's not like we've just given it a nickname. It means that we're... you know,
Apex.
it's much more involved in
I
that.
think that's a good enough name for that stegosaur. Let's just call him Apex.
Oh, no.
Glenn's good enough for that iguanodont skeleton. But I just want to see that prepped while I'm alive.
So that was already collected here, the Glen
Yeah,
special?
just over by Don's, or in the bend. Articulated skeleton. I mean, vertebral column. I mean, tail. You know, up into the neck, through the whole thing. The whole vertebral column. Probably the pelvis. I think there are ribs coming off the dorsals. No, I want to know. We did a big red jacket. It was a big jacket. It was a young animal. Or a smaller animal. I've always wondered, you know, is this the Therizinosaur?
Uh-huh.
You know, because it was right by where we got that articulated pelvis. Or, that's the half pelvis.
Oh, Crimson Carnotaurus makes a really good point. You wouldn't want to pronounce Centrosaurus with a hard C. And you'd get Kentrosaurus.
Kentrosaurus. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's not like there aren't synonyms.
Oh shoot, are they? Yeah, they probably are. They probably mean the same exact thing, huh?
Yep.
Huh.
They're spelled different, so it's legal.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Mononicus
one
and
letter,
Mononicus.
Hey, Don, you want to do me a great favor? Sure. Go buy my pack, grab another bottle of something to drink. I haven't been drinking enough this morning, so now I'm like trying to eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
And I need to. Yeah, it's good enough.
And Tone Rebellion's got a good question. How did you all like that Jurassic Fight Club episode where Utah Raptor fights Gastonia?
There's been 3 separate shows that have had Utah Raptor fight Gastonia. And properly, every one of them, Gastonia wins. Because I believe it would. You know, an adult Gastonia. Utah Raptor by itself, I mean, if it was a pack, you know, they may be able to mess with it enough. But those animals, I think part of the reason they're so well armored is they had giant dromaeosaurs in their environment commonly. You know, so they have to grow quick and get to the size.
Right.
Of course, no one's done a histo study of those guys, which will be really nice to see happen with Lori's site, because since they have a whole growth series.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got kind of a growth series of Gastonia from a couple sites, but there's going to be nothing like what's at Lori's site.
Yeah. Do we have real evidence that Utah Raptor was a pack animal? I mean, somebody in chat is asking that, and I would say yes if the mega block, if all those animals were there at the same time, but
almost certainly all there at the same time.
Yeah.
And for that mass, there's probably different phases. But we do know there is a second raptor in there. It's small.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about that when we did the tour.
Series of size Utah raptors in there too. So it complicates the story.
Yeah.
But paleo is not clean. It's not physics.
It's more difficult than physics.
Yeah.
A lot more variables. Not just dealing with atoms bouncing around.
It's not a hard science.
I don't know. I don't really believe in
But
that.
it's not an easy science.
Yeah, I don't believe in the distinction between like hard and soft science. Like,
yeah, hard science you can put to an equation, basically. Well, the mathematical types, that's the only thing valid. You know, you can have laws. You know, equations.
But by definition, that just means simple. You know. So, I don't know. There was an interesting study that came out where they were doing this huge meta study where they were looking at reproducibility in physics versus sociology, which is like the softest of the soft sciences. And in sociology, they could actually reproduce their results more regularly than in physics.
Yeah.
Across all of these.
Now,
Like,
there's no
hundreds of
question there are
different
trends. You know, of significance. I mean, there are trends.
Yeah.
That we're seeing in this stuff. You know that. We always have to hedge our bets more because of the filter we have in the rock record. But we see patterns in ecology. There are patterns.
Sure.
Generalities.
But the more complex the system gets, like generally the tougher it is to describe
the fact that there are exceptions to almost every one of these things when you look at it in depth.
Yeah.
The generalities still hold up overall. But unfortunately, the exceptions give people ammo where they say none of it has any meaning whatsoever.
Right.
And that's the problem we have with climate science. I mean, so many things. Environmental degradation in general. It's like we know what goes on with a lot of stuff. The reef ecosystem has gone extinct 4 times. And each time it took millions of years to re-evolve the interactions, because the reef ecosystem's an ecosystem.
It's a web,
not one animal, but just to evolve the things with the zooanthellae, so you grow that, but all the different symbioses that make up a reef ecosystem, which has got very limited resources. It's part of the nature of those things. It's always 5 to 10 million years. So, it's like we kill off the Caribbean reefs.
It's going to be a long time.
We cook the planet quicker than they can migrate out, drive most of extinction. Humanity will never see a reef again.
Jeez.
You know, and that's the way it is. You know, it's like, folks, think about it. Think about it for your kids and grandkids. Don't think about it for the Earth. The Earth will deal with it.
It's going to be here
Think
after
about
work on,
your kids.
Yeah.
And their kids, you know, because that's the level, you know.
Yep.
We have a nuclear war. The Earth will, you know, 20, 30 million years won't even notice it happen. You know, there'll be a whole different wave of things that survive doing stuff. But not good for humanity and the things we know and love, you know. It's like, that's what I try to sell. It's like, this is being self-serving.
Yeah.
Protect the environment.
You're robbing this from your
for
children.
us.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh, okay.
people.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Like self-serving, yes. You know. I'm not doing it for Mother Earth. Because Mother Earth just thumb its nose at us and say, do what you want. I'll beat you.
Thoughts on the paper a few years back looking at isotopes and how they related to pack hunting and dromaeosaurs. I didn't see that paper, Dinosaur Dave.
Isotopes?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. It hinted they might have been more crocodile-style shared hunting over wolf-style pack hunting. I don't remember that study at all.
No, I don't either. I don't see how isotopes would tell you that so much.
Huh. Yeah, unfamiliar with that.
Now, the biggest thing is gregarious. We know theropods commonly were social and going together. In multiple trackways where they're walking together. You know, more than two, more than a mated pair of adults. You know, multiple adults walking together, turning at the same thing, keeping the same pace, changing pace at the same times. We know almost across the board from the first theropods, there's gregarious behavior in theropods. So
we often find them in big accumulations.
I mean,
too.
in
Is there any
dromaeosaurs,
coelophobia?
there's probably solitary, cryptic hunters. You know, there's some that are like ducks. You know, I mean, they're incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them are probably improved on older social behaviors that are widespread throughout theropoda. You know, and birds. You know, but there are solitary birds and there are social birds. There's like, but the behavioral systems are deeply ingrained in that line of organisms. So say a species is this.
I think it will split on this
But to make big generalizations,
unless you have a
and say,
site that shows evidence.
yeah. Yeah.
It could be like
They have a number of sites with Deinonychus.
Oh, yeah, that's
Multiple dead Deinonychus with multiple dead Tyrannosaurs.
You think it's vertically oriented?
Or it's laying
Oh,
on
I
its
see
side
it,
like
yeah.
this.
I see
The
it,
centrum's going to be down like this.
So that's the neural spike laying this way.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, that's an idea.
That makes
That would
sense.
make sense if that thing's a transverse.
Yeah, it's kind of shaped like one.
Let's see.
I mean,
Oh, this is in
that's gonna be-
2020. Ontogenetic dietary shifts in Deinonychus.
Big like dorsal vert.
The centrum's going to be like that. Maybe.
Our babies probably eating a lot of insects.
On the big, yeah.
Oh, this is neat. I need to save this actually.
New paper. The
Yeah.
Troodont paper as omnivores is really good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Lindsay's thing, and Makovicki, and even Sampson was in on it at the beginning. But
That's cool,
the
Dinosaur
whole
Dave. Thanks.
Maniraptoran group were basically all herbivorous to begin with. And then Troodont started being more omnivorous.
Uh-huh.
You know, and they probably tighter to birds. You know, and
Wait, what
then-
group was herbivorous to start with?
basically the Maniraptora
Really?
in general, and probably
So-
starting like at ornithomimids up.
Interesting.
But Troodonts, were omnivorous, and omnivory is not that hard for a thing either.
Sure.
But then dromaeosaurs, Deinonychids, velociraptorines, became hypercarnivores, but
Right.
their ancestry is actually more herbivorous. Actually, Falcarius's ancestors might have been plant eaters, and they just got better at it.
Oh, that's an interesting
Yeah.
idea.
Oh yeah, Lindsay's really into that. And that's it's not favored by a lot of people, but I think she's very likely right.
What is the earliest Maniraptoran we've got? Because I know you've expressed skepticism about, is it Eschanosaurus? There's like an ilium from somewhere that's supposed to be like an early
Oh,
Jurassic Therizinosaur.
There's a jaw. I've studied it in China.
Oh, there's a jaw too?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's all it is one jaw.
Oh. No, who's the guy that's part of a pelvis then? And they claim that it's an early Jurassic.
I don't know.
Maybe it is Echinosaurus. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
that's really
misremembering.
Jurassic from the Yunnan.
But yeah.
I've looked at it. I'm thinking it's some kind of real oddball prosauropod. You know, but
Because otherwise, the earliest Maniraptoran that we've got is like...
it's got to be Triassic. Yunnan is real basal Jurassic.
Yeah.
You
Huh.
know.
Huh.
But we got, what are they naming it? You know, the one I discovered down there, the big giant Thyreophorus. That thing's pretty basal Jurassic too, and it's as big as an elephant. Biggest dinosaur in the Yunnan. It's not a prosauropod or protosauropod. It's Thyreophorus.
Interesting.
Yeah. Wasn't as tall.
Uh-huh. So like a Scelidosaur type of thing, or something more basal than that?
It's totally its own thing, but
Weird.
that grade.
Cool.
No, it's not anything. Lou thought it was an ankylosaur for quite a while, but Logan King is describing it, part of his postdoc.
Oh, neat.
And, he's keeps me informed because they're naming it for me.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, I'm pretty happy. I found the damn thing, which is really cool.
What are they naming after, Jim?
What?
What are they naming for you?
This giant elephant-sized Thyreophorus from the Yunnan Formation.
Nice. It's gonna be named after you?
Yeah, I found the brain case and stuff. And I remember Dong Ziming, I'm like, because I'm in Yunnan, there's all these prosauropods and early, a little higher, you start getting early sauropod. Things are like 40 foot long. I mean, pretty big animals.
Wow.
This brain case is like as big as their skulls. I'm like, because of course the first thing is like prosauropod, because the place is full of prosauropods. And it turned out that Lyda Zing and Martin Lockley described elephant-sized trackway Therizinosaur in those rocks.
Huh.
But years ago. And they said it looks like a, kind of ankylosaurid-like trackway. Big monster thing, huge. And this probably the animal that gave it. And he says one thing about the humerus, he says it's closer to humerus is closer to Dinocephalians. He says it is it's as wide approximately as it is long. I mean,
Weird.
It is the freakiest looking, and it's huge, and it is.
Bizarre.
It's like this big across, Danny. This big across, and about that long. At the top, and then it goes down, but then it's big and.
Nuts.
It's crazy. It really is. And they've got other stuff, too. I don't know what all they got, but they found the humerus after me. And they went back. But I got the whole brain case, Saying, this isn't a vertebra. This is a brain case. It's freaking big.
That's crazy. And let's see.
I'm real happy it's going to happen. I think Lou wanted to fit it into our phylogeny, and that never happened. It's all Mark Lowen's fault. It would have been named 10 years ago.
Ontogeny.
We had a question about Eoraptor and whether it's a theropod or an early sauropodomorph or what.
Right.
It might be like two...
I mean, that basal bush of
They're all going to get
Dinosauria.
more and more and more similar toward the bottom until it's just-
Solosaurs are now considered ornithischians by one group.
Yeah, which is really
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm whatever.
Not sold, but yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. That's definitely a debate. It's been a debate for a bit.
Oh yeah.
Now there's a big, phylogeny that they worked on for years and years. They're selling that.
Would you want to elaborate on that, Karen, or is it, I don't know, is that interesting enough to talk about from your perspective?
Yeah, does chat know what a silosaurid is?
I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, yeah.
No, I mean, look, I guess the main thing is, like, we don't really know what silosaurids are.
Nobody really knows. Yeah, they're weird.
They're this weird group that we don't have a lot of like really complete skeletons of.
But
So
there's one pretty
There's-
damn complete skeleton.
okay.
Yeah. And there's multiple taxa now.
Yeah.
So they're these weird things that like may or may not be dinosaurs. They're called like sometimes they're called non-dinosaur dinosauromorphs.
Dinosaur morphs or dinosaur forms.
Yeah,
But
they're definitely really close to dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're really close.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like when you're trying to work out that phylogeny and you have a whole bunch of things that are branching around the same time, it actually gets really tricky to tell which sequence that branching happens.
Yeah.
And that's how we name groups, right? Things that are evolutionarily related to each other
These guys.
are, they are that way because they're descended from a common ancestor,
Yeah.
which is represented on sort of a tree or clade diagram as like a branch point.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's just when those are really clustered together and you have this really quick diversification, it's actually really difficult to tell sometimes what that branching pattern is. So yeah, I don't know.
No, there's a number.
I'm not
groups
convinced
that
by the
their specialty-
silosaurids being within dinosaurs and within ornithischians, but like I'm not convinced it's wrong. I'm not quite
Skeptical of the idea.
I'm a little
'cause
skeptical of
we
it,
don't have very
but-
much information yet.
But again,
Yeah,
it's
it
worth.
would be an ornithischian group without
Predenary.
predentary.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing, and that is really when you kind of look at it, like the predentary is a major defining feature of ornithischians. In fact, if you go back in the old literature, one of the old names for them
Predentata.
was predentata.
Yeah.
Right? So it's this group of things that has a predentary, which is this bone in the front of the lower jaw that forms a sort of beak.
Well, personally, I would
and,
take
yeah.
Iguanodontia and maybe move it up to the base of Dryosaurs and Camptosaurs instead of including Tyrannosaurs and Raptidons. I think they're just convergent groups coming out of more hypsilophodont grade things.
Sure, which is a.
I mean, a lot of the thing is they're big.
That's a
There's a lot
possibility.
of convergences,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that the new phylogeny separates the Raptidons from Telmatosaurs because biogeographically that makes zero sense.
Oh yeah, no, they're not related to each other.
No.
Not that closely.
No.
I mean, I think it makes sense to have them all within Iguanodontia, and because of the way that Iguanodontia has been, discussed in the literature previously, and named, according to phylocode rules, like it does, by definition, basically, it does.
Yeah, but
include-
Tyrannosaurus came a lot later than
Yeah.
Iguanodontia. And well after, it was in
Yeah.
69 it was named.
Oh, when it was named.
Yeah, and identified as a group. I mean, the first of all those primitive big guys, 69.
Yeah.
So it's not like, Archaeopteryx is base of birds. It was included in it, almost 200 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, someone made a mistake.
Yeah.
Does that mean we alter everything?
I mean, I see what you mean,
Yeah.
but I
They're
don't really.
getting big and they're getting those characters from a little hypsilophodont grade thing. Kathy Forster said that in Masterpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, without phylogenetics.
Yeah.
That was her view, and I totally agree with her.
Yeah.
And that's
But
what
my
it is.
point is, you can have a larger group, Iguanodontia, that within it contains both like Raptidontomorphs, including Tenontosaurus,
We'll go all the way down to
and
include
this
Hypsilophodont
sort
now.
of Ankylopolexian group, right, which includes Camptosaurs and Hadrosaurs and all of that, and Iguanodon. So you can have, it's a little arbitrary where the name goes, like which node the name goes at. So we might as well use what is commonly understood. I mean that's sort of
makes
my
sense.
view of it. In the end, we're tagging names to nodes in the tree, right? So yeah, it can be a little arbitrary which name goes at which node.
But it's totally confusing.
I guess.
You really listen to the gist of what's happening.
Yeah.
Because the main name everyone thinks of, they're using for like everything, that's from the Jurassic up.
Yeah.
Is all the same thing,
Yeah.
which is.
It's a big group. Don't take things out of my group, Jim. No, it's fine.
I mean, I'm not going to be doing it because
No,
that's
I
not my
know.
group.
I know.
But
No,
that's
but
what I
it's-
personally, in my heart,
I-
believe.
Yeah.
You know.
I get what you mean, but at the same time, like if we didn't call that there is a large group
Oh,
that
yeah.
contains both Dryomorpha and Rhabdodontomorpha. So if we didn't call that Iguanodontia, we'd call it something else, and then I'd be talking.
dinosaurs
And
are
then
still
I'd be
higher
talking
than
about
the
group.
new
They
thing.
are.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Those are sisters, right? Essentially, you've got Dryomorpha includes Dryosaurids and Ankyloplexians and Styracosaurans, everything on up to Duckbills, right? Hadrosaurs. And then the sister group to that is Rhabdodontomorpha. So they have a common ancestor.
And the sister group
And
to
whatever,
that
and
is
whatever that,
Tyrannosaurus.
so there is still a group there. We need a name for it. Why not Iguanodontia? I mean, it could be something different. You're right.
Yeah.
But like I said, whatever it is, like that is still a group.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure
still
like
need- it still
Yanni,
needs a name.
or however
Huh?
you say it. Yanni?
Yanni. Yeah.
Yanni. I'm sure it's a Tyrannosaurid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a Rhabdodont.
Well, but it's
He
the
calls
same-
it a Rhabdodont. If they're not. In
Well,
the
it's not a
same place.
Rhabdodontid, it's
And
a
now
Rhabdodont-
at least they're splitting them now because they're separate.
It's not a
organs.
Rhabdodontid, but it's a Rhabdodontomorph, and so is Tenontosaurus. Sorry, guys, we're
No,
really...
this is actually really cool to see, because this is not like arguing about the like how these creatures are related to one another. It's like that's not what the disagreement is about. It's just
It's more about just the
the
terminology.
terminology,
that we use,
you know? Yeah. So it's kind of a semantic discussion.
Yeah.
And this is the sort of thing that we talk about in the quarry, and I'm really glad that you got to witness this at home. You know, this is fun.
This
This
is
is the sort of thing that we
reality,
get
yeah.
we get animated about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was so excited when Yanni came out
Uh huh.
because my phylogeny that came out before that
Mm-hmm.
predicted that there should be a Rhabdodontomorph lineage like outside of Europe.
Yeah.
In probably like
They're
North
not.
America.
They're not. They're totally independent. Rhabdodonts come out in like islands and the northern tepes.
But Rhabdodontids don't just come out of nowhere. They have a lineage.
Yeah, but
coming
they've
from
been
somewhere.
separate. Tomatosaurus come off of animals.
Let's fill up the mud pit.
Antilopodonts.
Going in.
Now, if we're gonna find there are little basal things up there that they're totally independent. They're just convergent.
Yeah.
Paleogeography said that. They did not have a genetic link for like 50 million years.
Yeah, I
Tyrannosaurs
agree.
go extinct
I agree.
before the origin of Rhabdodonts. They do.
But, sure. But there's something
They're
in
coming
there.
out of something else
and
in Europe.
Rhabdodontids still come from somewhere.
Yeah, but it's something in Europe. Tomatosaurs come out of something in North America and go extinct without any descendants.
Yeah.
And Rhabdodonts come out of something in Europe and eventually the end of Cretaceous go extinct. But they're so, the Moxie, is a much more diverse group.
Yeah.
But
Moxies, Rhabdodonts,
totally
yeah.
European.
Yeah.
There's nothing remotely like
How you
this
doing,
in
Nick?
Asia, either group.
Good. How you doing?
There's no apparent
We're
connection
streaming right
to
now, just to let you
Asia.
know. But
Yeah, I mean, look, they get
fun to-
weird when Europe
It's
becomes a bunch of
convergence.
islands.
It's just
But they still came from somewhere, and it's
They're
Tenontosaurus.
ornithopods.
All right. We'll stop being goofy.
Now,
about it.
Fuji's here. We'll talk because I really like the fact that they're now separating them.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun. Too bad Dang won't be there to witness it. Share it with his people.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know if I should. I guess I can say it. So I was hoping to do some field work just down the road from us at the end of September through, like, the beginning of October at Laurie's site over here. But there's a media embargo that the British Broadcasting Corporation put in place.
Last year.
Last year.
Not this year.
No, it's this year, too.
It's still on.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's through 2025, Josh said.
Oh,
So I might not be able to go next year either, you know?
Summer of 25. Next summer.
Okay, that's when it's
Is
over?
when the show. PBS will show our version.
Okay. But
in
otherwise
summer
I would be,
2025.
have another 2 weeks of field work, it seems like, but...
And they've announced it so we can say.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Walking
Walking
with
with Dinosaurs 2, or Walking with Dinosaurs 2025.
2025.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a big film crew out there last summer, and, it was a big to-do,
Oh, yeah. Ridiculous.
And that's why I didn't get to be there. I think I remember grousing a little bit on stream at some point,
No.
and maybe I wasn't real specific about why, but now I can tell you that's exactly why.
Yeah.
And I won't be able to be there this year, too, apparently, because that embargo is still in place.
We might talk about stuff that supersedes the show.
Uh-huh.
We wanted to talk about stuff that superseded the show then, when they were filming us, and they wouldn't let us. Can't mention that. Can't say that.
Yeah. Anyway, and no, the BBC is not filming there this summer. They filmed there last summer, but there's still an embargo in place. So until the show gets released.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think the British one will be out in the spring, 2025.
And it'll be summer for us.
PBS, yeah. And
Yeah.
they've got 14 minutes of additional stuff they filmed with us. You know, up in Salt Lake and BYU and then with the Utah Raptors.
Oh, right, because they have commercials there, and on PBS we don't have commercials. Yeah. Thanks to support from viewers like you. Thank you.
Absolutely. It'll be a better show. I guarantee it.
Nice. But yeah. Oh, but that dinosaur that Karen was mentioning, Yanni. Remember, those of you who were, watching last summer, when I was in Michigan for a little while, in between fieldwork in Wyoming and fieldwork here, we did like a summer roundup of different dinosaurs that had been described that summer, and that was one of them. That's one of the ones that we talked about. It's one that I was really excited about. And that's where I first learned the term speedo. Was it Lindsay's talk or
Right, Lindsay.
Yeah,
Or-
it's Lindsay Zano's group.
yeah, or Haviv?
And is it Haviv's thing specifically?
It might have been
definitely out of that
Haviv giving the
last.
talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might be Haviv's.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where I learned that term, was during that talk. Small-bodied early diverging ornithischian, or SBEDO, S-B-E-D-O for short.
And Rabbi
And,
Don's
I like it
out
a
of
lot.
a Speedo. Speedo thick theory. Speedo pods.
Speedobot. But, yeah. I don't know. This is the thing with... We used to have this group called Hypsilophodontids, these small, beaky, two-legged, plant-eating dinosaurs. Probably fast runners. A grade, yeah. It turns out they're not an actual natural group. They aren't actually all closely related to each other. They don't share a recent common ancestor.
But now we might have a North American group.
The
Celosaurs.
yeah, or Thessaliosaurs and Orodromians, are they?
They put them in the same group.
Are they?
No, not Orodromians.
No,
Erectodromius.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Thescelosaurus and Erectodromius are sort of within one group.
Yeah.
Of Thescelosaurines.
Yanni's
And
in
then-
it now.
Wait, did they put Yanni in there?
Yanni's close to Erectodromius in there.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Well, but yeah, but Thescelosaurus
So,
and Erectodromius are sort
Yeah.
of close together, and
Parktosaurus
Orodromius
and-
is sort of its own.
Right.
Or it's not its own group, but there's basically you have Thescelosaurines and Orodromius.
and they split off
Orodromius.
That's what
before
they found in the phone.
I'm trying to remember what LJ was saying about
giant Jurassic ghost lineage.
this. Yeah. Well, I think LJ was thinking that maybe Nanosaurus might be an Orodromian.
Or what?
Yeah.
Ornithosaurus.
Othnilosaurus?
Yeah, no.
Othnilosaurus.
Othnilosaurus.
Yeah.
Is what they're
Othnilosaurus,
calling it
yeah.
now?
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, Othnilosaurus is certainly something pretty
Drinker?
early
What's
diverging,
drinker?
like kind of basal.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I'm not sure which one of those it's more similar to, but yeah.
I don't know if anybody has a good handle on that, like Othnilosaurus versus Drinker versus Nanosaurus. Are they all the same thing, or are they?
Yeah.
Galton and
Honestly, this is. I feel like this should be in my area of expertise, and I sort of throw my hands up, and I usually
Yeah.
go with Othnilosaurus,
Uh-huh.
but
Or is it Othnielia, or is it Othnilosaurus?
No,
Othniel-
Othnielia got killed.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
It sunk.
Somebody else had it.
Othnilia.
Yeah, so Othnielia didn't last
No,
long.
Othnielia did not last, but Othnilosaurus is I think valid, but also but it's also maybe synonymous with
Nanosaurus?
maybe synonymous with Nanosaurus.
Yeah.
But I think Nanosaurus
And
has
then my
been
head
killed,
sort of
hasn't it?
explodes. Two big things that I understand.
I'd love to see what.
And you're familiar with that paper
Yeah.
review. So now that they've done their thing, now other people can work on it. Like LJ. You know LJ's dying to get into that more.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's been looking for like a good Nanosaurus site for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this means much at all, but on Wikipedia, Ophnilosaurus now redirects to Nanosaurus.
Okay.
So
Maybe it is
that's a
more
clue.
correctly Nanosaurus now. I'll have to check on it.
Yeah.
Angels on pinheads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
4211.
And, from T-Bone 1220. Hi, it's my first time stopping in here. Could we get a tour of the most recent findings or the setup? This is a very interesting stream. Sure, I can walk around for a
Probably
minute.
time to do another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that.
You've seen my site.
Oh, and then we could talk about Ceratopsians, Hakusaurus after that. Yeah. You bet.
We gotta find a
we were-
Ceratopsian here.
Yeah, not here, but we were digging up a Ceratopsian in Wyoming back in June. I was streaming that, so you can check out the VODs for that. But yeah, welcome to the earliest Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation here in eastern Utah. And we've got a number of paleontologists and volunteers here in the quarry. Actually, we all work on fossils. I'd say we're all paleontologists, more or less. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have to be gatekeepy about that.
Not a geochemist in the group.
But yeah. Yeah, we're digging up some iguanodontian dinosaurs here. Something probably pretty similar to, well, vaguely similar to this. This is Iguanodon bernisartensis, which is a larger, later, more derived member of the group. It's your classic iguanodon from Europe. Our critter is pretty similar to this, but, you know,
No thumb spikes.
earlier, yeah, probably
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Never say never, but almost certainly no thumb spike.
Interesting. Okay.
I got a five-fingered hand like Camptosaurus.
Interesting. But does Camptosaurus have a thumb spike?
Well,
'Cause I've got-
it's got a short finger.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, do we call it a thumb spike? I've got a cast at home, that famous Camptosaurus hand cast, and like, do we call it a thumb spike or do we not? Anyway, so
Tyrannosaurus definitely doesn't.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's way more.
We've got enough well-preserved specimens of that critter. Yeah. But yeah. And Jim's got a beautiful sternal over here. So sternal, not sternum. And humans, our sterna, are fused into the sternum. But these guys have got two sternals side by side, so they're kind of paired bones from the middle of the chest right here. And then you get your coracoids, and then you get your scapulae, your shoulder blades. So that's this right here. Jim just uncovered this a little while ago, about 2 hours ago. And then, what have you got going on over there, Karen?
Lots of little bits. I don't know what any of them are.
Nice.
But we got a little thing here. A little wispy thing there. I still don't know what this is. This is a decent sized bone, actually.
Nice.
Still
Go around the
not
other
sure
side.
what it is, but
Step right here.
I'm gonna leave the quarry with a bunch of bones in place
Yeah,
for other
shoot, 'cause
people
you
to
gotta take
deal
off
with.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be...
all mine.
Yep. And
Dawn's
then
done.
Dawn can deal with all of this that I have left.
I've got plenty over here to deal with too.
Yeah. But yeah, this is actually something decent. I don't really know what it is yet.
That's nice, though, yeah.
Yeah. It's
It almost seems like it kind of twists at the end.
yeah,
for you.
yeah, it's giving me maybe kind of like ischium vibes, but I'm not sure. I mean, I just can't see enough to really tell.
Would we have a twist in the ischium like that? I guess I'm not familiar enough with this.
It's not technically a twist, but there's a ridge in iguanodontians that sort of wraps around in such a way it kind of gives it that look.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could be that. I mean, it seems too long and slender to really be like one of the sort of like actual limb bones. Like, I mean, maybe I don't know. It doesn't even really look like a radius. It's a little too.
It seems
It's got a
wispy
little
for a
too
radius,
much. Yeah, and it seems like it's got a little too much of a curve to be a fibula, I think. So, I'm not sure.
We'll find out.
Mystery
yeah.
bone.
Yeah.
Mystery bone until we take more of this down and get back into that hill.
A lot is, yeah,
Yep.
well represented.
Yeah.
Nice. And what do you got over there, Don?
We just capped a little phalanx here, a little toe bone,
Nice.
and then we got a vertebra here, the centrum, and then these are the two zygapophyses. And something else here, I think, as well. There's somebody here going in. I've got the end of it right here.
Oh.
Pops on, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. We'll see what it ends up.
Also giving me ischium
We'll
vibes.
see, yeah,
Maybe
give
I
the
just think
ischium
everything's
back.
an ischium.
That goes in there. And then I've got a longer limb bone here. I'm thinking maybe femur right now because this looks maybe distal end.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh
You can
yeah.
see we
Yep.
asked that question earlier, like how much do you expose in the quarry? We're
Yeah.
trying to keep it as exposed enough to figure out what we should go around, but not
Yeah.
working too much.
Not-
But that one's giving me a femur vibe. And then down here I've got another vertebra. There's a centrum here. We're kind of looking at it end on.
Nice.
And the transverse process and the neural spine there. So that one's going to be, that big around and have all the neural arch stuff on there. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's about it for now. I just took out that nice tibia that we had down here.
Oh, nice.
So that's been
cool.
popped
That's
out. It's
safe
always
and
nice
sound
when
now.
you successfully pop it out without hitting
Yeah.
anything or underneath.
Anything.
So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you try to get a bone out and then it's just crisscrossing with something else and they're like pickup sticks and it gets complicated real fast.
Luckily these are fairly
Yeah.
concentrated, but they
Yeah.
are giving us a little space in between,
Nice. Yeah.
which helps to. And then in this hard stuff too, we've been using the water to help soften up some of the
Yeah.
rocks. You see it tends to break it's in these big chunks, but if you hit it with a little water, it'll kind of break up, crumble
Yeah.
up a little bit, so then we
Then you
can.
can do finer work.
Because they're all kind of imbricated, so if you
Uh-huh.
start moving one, they all tend to move. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it can be a little exasperating try to get around stuff. But, and
That's-
then I've got another little cliff of overburden that we'll have to keep taking back.
Gotcha. So that'll be a
Yeah, and
Task for
there's
another
really
day.
no. Instead of spending the whole time working just to get this out, I'll work here for a little bit, and then I'll work up here for a little bit, and then I'll work up here for a little bit.
Nice.
Let the glue dry, go somewhere
Yeah,
else.
let
We'll
it
go around the
dry
whole
out,
quarry
yeah.
tomorrow. We're going to be gone.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it is. There's something when you're here by yourself. I mean, obviously, in the grand scheme, less gets done because there's only
Yeah.
one of me instead of 5 people.
But you could stay as long as you want.
But in for my own
Yeah.
area, I'll get much more done because there'll be no distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't have to.
Nobody will ask me anything.
Hey Don,
to
what
mug
should
for
I
the
do
camera.
with this?
I won't have.
Is this bone?
Yeah.
I won't have to keep
Don,
looking over
help!
Ethan's shoulder and give him a hard time for doing it wrong.
See, Don can end up
Telling
working
Fisher
at some university or something where you got to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Gillette, don't believe this, Jim. I think this is a horrible way to do science is with these groups. And then within a year of being at the Museum of Northern Arizona, he was doing groups. This is part of your job.
We're getting a lot of appreciation in the chat right now from people saying like this is really cool to be able to see this live. So yeah. Thank you everybody.
It never gets old.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for over 50 years. Every bone is fun.
Yeah.
50 plus years.
Yeah.
I like
It
it.
never gets old, and
Every-
yet they are always old.
Yeah.
Start off full.
They start off old.
Always old. They stay-
Uh,
I mean, after a couple of weeks, it can get a little old sometimes.
maybe not the digging the bones
Your
itself,
knees
but like
feel a little old after a while.
just everything that comes along with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go.
You know, not having a shower for a month like I did back in
It would
June.
be less fun if you went into the
Oh yeah.
into the bones if you want to go
Yeah.
sweeping.
Funky Boy Monkey Boy says 4 weeks after my knee replacement, I envy these guys' kneeling ability. Thank you. I hear we've got luxurious pillows to recline on. You know.
It's hard because probably the most efficient is to be something like this.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I am often, yeah.
In terms of sweeping and moving, like something like this, I can go pretty quick and be over the bone. But then after a while, you have to move.
Yeah.
Sit down for a little bit. Or,
Yeah. And then sometimes you need your nose up on the rocks to really look
a little bit,
close.
but it's hard to do.
And then you get like this kind of stuff going on.
And then of course Jim has the
Yeah.
Cleopatra position.
and
where
then-
he's
Right.
And Jim is always in that position, just
on his side.
lying on the rocks on his
on his
side.
side, like he's
We were joking that I should bring some grapes out here to feed him. Well,
eating some grapes. But I mean, he does it mainly because that's what he has to do.
yeah.
We had one volunteer that came in and and watched Jim, and like in a day he was like on his side.
He was doing the same thing?
I was like, no, dude.
That's the pose of last
king
resort.
gets to lay on his side, but you, as a mere serf, get on your
You
knees
must
and
kneel.
start digging, boy.
You must kneel.
Genuflect before the master.
Nice use of genuflect.
Also, imbrication. It's a term that I never hear except here in the field. That's
Really?
that's pretty
I mean,
great. Yeah.
I guess it's just
I guess in
big-
anatomy you probably get that a lot, huh?
Not a lot. It's
Yeah.
geology, really. Like we
I
talk about
guess so.
imbrication a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imbricated mudstones.
Yeah, just any kind of class can
Yeah.
imbricate. Yeah.
Yeah, good word.
Mudstone rip-up class can
Yeah.
imbricate. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just, I don't know
No,
if
I
it's
know.
a technical thing, it's mainly just the way that
No, I'm.
it's imbricated.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like it. It's a good word.
And Legion
We
says
do talk
the
about it with ornithischian teeth. They become imbricated.
the hard work is amazing and tedious, but the passion and love for it shows through without a doubt. Thank you, Legion. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad that that's obvious. Oh, and Claire Burr, would you mind switching our category to just chatting here? We've got enough people here, I think. We might jump into a larger category and see if anybody else wants to join us. But yeah. Anyway, from Game Over, is there anything you all disagree on or have disagreed on dinosaur-wise? Oh yeah. Between Don and Jim, or Danny and Jim, or Ethan, etc. Yeah, I'm probably the only person in this quarry who is pretty well convinced that Torosaurus and Triceratops are the same animal. So that'd be an example there. What's that?
We're just being angry.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Are you trolling, Danny?
No, not at all. No. No, we've got specimens of Triceratops that are fenestrated at Museum of the Rockies. It's like John Scannella just needs to publish on them. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there's stuff like that. But we're all colleagues and friends, and we're all cordial. And I can be wrong about that, and that's fine. Shouldn't. Whoop! Trying to adjust the camera here. Keep your seats. Let's see. Well, wrong way.
Amazingly how much cooler it is in the shade.
There we go. Whoop. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let me get some water too.
So where's your femur, Don?
I don't know, just that kind of looks like this.
Yeah.
Kind
This
of
doesn't look right, but
Could also
it might
be.
going down.
Yeah, I mean that could also be a distal this. I haven't looked that close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just this is looking kind of, I don't know.
Alright. And let's see.
Yeah.
I did just hydrate Miss Yvette, thank you.
I mean, I'm with you. I think it
Like
could be a
this
femur.
and, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, obviously the head and stuff would be facing down.
Yeah, so that could be like a trochanter kind of coming out of us. This is
I think by the time
yeah,
it's around there.
yeah. No, we'll figure it out.
Very funny, Jim Wing.
But yeah, I mean, it is kind of
Subject to
Oh, and thank you, Geeks Tour. I appreciate that. Oh, and Jim, we've got a question. If I don't want to distract you too much.
I'm just taking pictures.
Okay. A question about Psittacosaurus and the butt fuzz, as you call it.
Yeah, I'd heard rumor there was a second one, and now people saying, no, there's no second one yet.
Huh.
Which now it's like, okay, it's pretty weird. You only have one.
Right. But to just give you some context in the on stream, everybody, there's this dinosaur called Psittacosaurus. I'll show you a picture. But you often see it reconstructed with these quills coming off of its tail. And this is only one species of Psittacosaurus that I think this has really been proposed for, but you still see reconstructions of all the other species with this too now. But there we go.
One out of probably more than 100 specimens.
Right.
Yeah, we have a ton of specimens.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot. It's one of the most common animals in those beds.
And yeah, so and that one specimen is shady too. That was smuggled out of China
like,
illegally.
Like Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredibly got good skin. I mean, it's got some good features, but the Chinese don't believe it.
So out of like hundreds of them that have got preserved integument, because there are hundreds with skin, right?
It's got 100, at least 100.
Yeah.
I've seen personally probably 30. Yeah, many of with skin.
Right, and just that one that happens to be there in Italy or Germany, I forget.
Italy, I think.
Is it Italy? Yeah. That's one that seems to show these bristles on the tail, which, I don't know. It's hard to imagine like what that could... You'd think it'd be really easy to test. Like, if it is plant material, they'd be able to tell, like, oh, it's just behind the tail rather than coming out of the follicles or whatever. You know, coming out of the skin, but... I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying it's real. You know, people have looked at it, and it's like, well, it's pretty weird. It would certainly have to be dimorphic, because there'd be more than one. And only the big bull males have it, you know, and younger males don't have it. And,
which, you know, there's definitely precedent for that in birds.
Ford has put out papers with, I think, with with Ralph Molnar.
Oh, really?
Where they created like a tadpole tail. Because, you know, they're in all these aquatic pods. So they have that stuff is making this big, huge tail.
I need to talk to Ralph about that. I see him like every Tuesday back home because he's at Berkeley.
Oh, he moved back to Berkeley because he was in Flagstaff for a while.
Yeah, no, he's in California. He's been there
for
for
a
number of years.
Because Tracy was playing with him on that stuff.
Interesting.
Huh.
I will talk to him about that, yeah.
Yeah, Ralph's a neat guy. Yeah, I like Ralph.
Yeah, burlap over there.
Okay, fine.
And have there been confirmed cases of that dinosaurs preserved alongside a plant fossil? Probably in Liaoning, I'd imagine there'd be...
What?
Like dinosaur specimens right next to preserved plants.
Oh, there's plants all over
in the same
stuff.
slab?
Oh, yeah. There's tons of stuff, like Green River.
Yeah.
In fact, it's remarkably, you know, I've dug in that stuff a lot in a lot of places. And including sites where there are psittacosaurs all over the place coming up, you know. Confuciornis bed area.
Is Green River also like?
It looks just like it.
Does it have ash in there like Liaoning does?
What?
Does Green River have ash in it like?
I don't know if it's got ash. The ash is not preserving these fossils. The ash beds where you get the 3D stuff is a completely different site, very similar in age.
Oh, in Wyoming.
In
Liaoning.
And in the Liaoning area, in the Yixian Formation, there's different members. And the stuff where you get the 3D animals and all the net, I mean, incredible stuff. And I've dug there, too. And dug up part of a psittacosaur, because they're all over the place in there. Those animals don't preserve integument.
Yeah.
But you get complete 3D animals in the positions they died in. You know, they were buried under, you know, with massive volcanic, you know, depth. It's like Pompeii.
Sure.
You know, incredible stuff, you know. But, you know, they got things in their stomachs, and, you know, it's really good preservation. But the lake beds preserve plants, conchostracans, frogs, crayfish, tadpoles, tons of insects. I mean, it's like you split in those shales, and it's full of bugs and stuff. You know, it's
that's
like
not
splitting
because
Green
of
River.
that's not because of fine volcanic ash that stuff gets preserved.
No, it's like stuff. There are ashes in it.
Yeah.
But the stuff isn't in the ashes.
Interesting. Okay.
No, they're just like Green River lake beds.
What is the lithology then for Liaoning? What's the lithology for the lake beds?
It's super fine, organic, rich shale.
So that's just got nothing to do with ash for that part.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know because I always say that, like, part of the
beds with the ash, you know, the mass kill ash bed tufts.
Yeah.
That's another site.
Okay,
You know, and they're close to the same age. They think they're the same species. Hailu is working on this for a while. You know, we've talked about it quite a bit, trying to see if he could separate those psittacosaurs as two separate species.
Okay.
You know, and the preservation is so different you know, between them. You know, it's, you know, as they say, what do you do? You know, I mean, but those lake beds full of plants. I get this thing there what is it? Fruta.
Frutidens?
No, the plant.
Oh.
Earliest angiosperms.
Oh, yeah. What's it called?
Yeah, I was saying fruta fossa. Not fossa.
I was going to say that too, yeah.
Yeah. It's fruta something. And they have fruit, flowers. They've got it's a water plant for sure, but it's an angiosperm.
Huh.
And it looks like the early angiosperms were just water plants.
Huh.
Right away, the lilies. And Bruce Cornett's saying, see, I told you. Because his thing is through the Jurassic, there's lily pollen that he thinks angiosperms exist from the late Triassic all the way up through the Jurassic. As a very restricted group of water plants.
That's like a wild idea. Like
yeah, and most people think it's a wild idea.
Yeah, that sounds sounds a little bit.
Yeah, there's that's what like certain people did want to work with them, because that's not. I'm not a paleobotanist, so I'm not going to get in the fight. Just look and listen and say, oh boy, they don't like each other on that topic.
Let's see. Would I love to go to those Chinese sites? Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I've been without question.
6 times, Liaoning, in different lakes.
Yeah.
And different sites, because they are different lakes, not one giant lake.
Yeah.
It was a big volcanic center, and there are lava flows in the lakes that they dated, originally, and the radiometric dates of the flows that are in the lake sediments are 125. They're Barremian. So because they're in the lake sediments, Dr. G at the Geologic Institute said, see, this is cross-cutting these beds, so these beds have to be Jurassic. So, he was putting out for the longest time that Confuciornis were Jurassic birds.
Jeez. Yeah.
And, but what happens when you put out big lava flow into, like, soupy lake mud, it just sinks right through the lake mud and runs under it.
Because it's much more dense,
Lava's dense, guys.
What's that?
I said lava's dense, guys.
Yeah. So it looks like sills, but when you look at it, it's like there's pillow basalts and this stuff, in terms of the structure. And then there are ashes in there, that they dated, discrete ashes. I've got an ash sample from Liaoning in my office, and it's a big, good ash. You can see the biotite and zircons in it. Well, I said it'd be fun someone to just try dating it. But it's still nice to have one of those ashes.
Right. Man, I'd love to be able to go there, though.
Oh, it's amazing.
See some Liaoningosaurus.
Yeah, and you go, there's a lake, there's this one exposure area that's above a village. And, they collected that thing for years, the Japanese, fossil fish. And the most dominant fish, 95% of them, are Papaea osteus, which is a very primitive sturgeon.
Oh.
Cool. And I found whole ones from like tiny ones with no armor plates to big ones with the big armor scutes going down the sides. But they don't have much, they don't have a rostrum. They're much more like trout form, but they got, heterocircle tails.
I wonder what that tells us about that ecosystem, like.
Well, what it is, and then there's other sites I've been to that are full of those little aquatic reptiles, those things that look like little plesiosaurs.
Yeah.
And there's bunches of them.
Yeah.
And then you got giant water bugs, giant water beetles. And it's, and then there's other sites that are full of crayfish and turtles. So every place you go, you got a different assemblage of lacustrine beasts.
Interesting.
And what the system is you got it's a big volcanic system, and these lakes are like Spirit Lake, below St. Helens.
Okay.
These are isolated deep lakes and valleys. Lava flows dam the valley.
Yeah.
Fills with water.
Lake Tahoe is
they
kind
get
of like
anoxic down low, so it's dead below.
Yeah.
And things settle down and are preserved beautifully.
Nice.
But there's lots of these lakes, and they're certainly not all the exact same age.
Right.
But they're all through the same interval. So the Ixian, stuff, spans the Barremian, maybe into the Aptian. Maybe there's parts of it that are Hautavirian. But, the dates tend to be Barremian when they've gotten dates. But it's a complicated system. but it's preserving stuff remarkably well. And there's volcanic systems here in the western U.S. In the Cenozoic that are like that with mammals.
Right.
You know, they preserve these extraordinary mammal sites. You know, Jeff Eaton worked on sites up in the Absaroka Range outside of Yellowstone that, you know, were just amazing. You know, these animals buried in tufts and things. You know, and they're just 3D skeletons. And he found this slope, and there were so many skulls that weathered out of this thing over the decades. There were brain endocranial casts, like hundreds of them, lying, of all kinds of animals, lying all over the ground. You
Very
know,
cool.
And this bench had collected these things probably over hundreds of years, maybe more. You know, and the bones all crumbled away. You just have this really hard cemented cranial cast laying on the ground.
That's nuts.
You know, and he brought the Chinese out there one time, and you know, the Chinese are like, "Ooh, we don't look for fossils this high," you know, because you know Jeff is like climbing cliffs, and they're like, "Most of the Chinese sites we drive up on," you know. But hysterical. But yeah, Liaoning is interesting. I mean, it's a Tachysaurus, you know, that where the Confuciornis bed, you know, and all the Confuciornis are all from a bed a centimeter thick. All of them. You know, well over 1,000 birds. You know, there's obviously a big mass mortality. There was a degassing, maybe a big CO2 burp, or maybe a volcanic gas came down, and all the birds just died and fell out of the trees into the lake. And one bedding plane, they're all on the same bedding plane. All those specimens. You know,
Jeez. So all
block.
Yeah.
You know,
which is really cool because you can start to do like
population
studies on them because you know they all lived at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
amazing
neat.
stuff.
Yeah,
you know, it really is.
Yeah.
Liaoning's fun. I mean, it really is. It's just you're sitting there splitting shales. You know, they threw that first Bipaosaurus away.
What?
Yeah, because they were telling all the Chinese farmers to look for birds. And they found this bigger thing.
And they're like, that's not a bird.
So they figured they weren't interested, so they threw it in the spoils pile.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They took it very literally. So, you know, they got there, and someone was looking at the spoils pile saw these stretches of vertebral column and chunks of arm bone, saying, there's proto-feathers attached to some of this stuff.
Jeez.
And they just said, well, you didn't want big stuff, you just wanted birds. This is a big animal.
How many?
They found like a neck of a sauropod in there.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just a neck though. You know, they probably floated.
Because I've heard some people say that, like, oh, you know, Liaoning is very much biased towards small critters. You don't get sauropods in there, you know.
They definitely have a sauropod neck. You know, I know that. You know.
Yeah.
But it's just a neck, and it probably, you know, so the gasp things, you know, animal died somewhere, scavenged by Eutyrannus, you know, and this chunk of the neck washed out in the lake and just drifted away somewhere.
Oh, Jim, I really wanted to talk to you about the about Andre Kau's paper. When that came out,
we were talking about that a little bit.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's got the Celosaurs as a separate group. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I was so stoked when that came out because it's, I don't know, I think it's just such a fascinating idea.
He dumps Tomatosaurs with Rhabdodonts and...
no, I'm talking about the theropod ontogeny paper.
Oh, that one where all the...
Compsognathids are just...
those are all juveniles.
So I talked about that a lot on stream right when it came out.
Yeah,
which is a couple months ago now, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah.
That's the stuff where I was out here working on different groups of animals. We just have to read it, and we're in the same boat as everyone else. You know, it's like, that's interesting because I haven't personally seen any of those fossils, and I don't, work. I mean, theropods. The work I've done has been like I have to do it.
Right, like Yurgavuchia and stuff like that.
Utahraptor is like, I'm not going to describe this animal twice the size of Deinonychus. And there are people that wouldn't. They just, I don't work on that group.
Right.
Forget it. I don't even want it.
That's a big chunk. Wow.
I swear, you want to split that.
Oh, for sure.
Don't hammer on the top of it. Hit sideways.
Yeah.
Split.
I'm just going to ease some pieces open like this. But yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might need to wrap up soon just because the
What?
flies.
Oh, they're just chewing the crap out of you?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
getting really bad.
Oh, man, this morning.
Maybe we should see about getting some fly paper, something vaguely like that.
That
Wouldn't
probably
kinda work?
would be helpful because they're not that common.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so fly paper, you probably can get fly paper in Green River.
Those little ribbon things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang a couple of those on the frames. And make sure you don't walk into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that would probably be the most useful thing you could do out here.
I mean, I kind of hate doing that just because.
I do, but also
Probably get
it's
some
getting
good
bad.
flies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
The biters.
Karen will never get the benefit of it if there is a benefit of it. She'll be gone.
But she also won't walk
She
into
gives
it.
us
and-
the
But I
excuse
also,
to
yeah,
get
but I
it.
also
Won't
won't
get your
be
hair
here
stuck to it.
if
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't get stuck in my hair, and if it doesn't work, then I won't be out here
Right.
anymore getting eaten up by flies.
You won't experience the fly's revenge after they
I
But
realize
will.
you
as
tried
we
to
were
do them.
talking with the, Tyrannosaur, Rhabdont thing, the new paper by Lockyer here and Maidment and that gang, like, yeah, Tyrannosaurs are separated as two separate lines.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like, yes, they're convergent. Off of a similar type of ancestor, a little nondescript Hypsilophodont grade thing. And
Yeah.
the things probably haven't had a genetic connection for 40 or 50 million years.
Again, we don't disagree on that.
They're not in
getting
the
it?
same group.
No, I missed it.
We make them all Hypsilophodonts. All iguanodonts are Hypsilophodonts now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but again, that's one of those things you start looking at like, well, what is
This time they're ornithopods.
what is Hypsilophodon today? What is ornithopoda? And that kind of all falls apart. But
Yeah, and they've got-
we're working on it.
right
We're gonna
here.
figure
And they
it
got
out.
an iguanodont today in their group with 4 genera.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shoots
But they
it down
put
to me.
proud down with iguana colossus.
Proa? Yeah.
Or proa, however you say that one. I always
Yeah.
thought prow and prow was ship.
It's Proa. So
Yeah,
with Proa.
proa, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's bone.
But, and it's like Latin for the prow of the ship.
Okay.
You
fair,
know,
fair.
it's, they're looking at
Is
stuff.
that in that block?
Start tops in like pre-entry.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and the whole block was coming up. I'm like, is that
there's no
bone
way
here on the
it's
corner?
that
On the other side?
primitive.
No.
It's definitely closer to Bernardsartensis and that stuff.
Proa.
It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's just, man, there's got to be a dozen of those skeletons there now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
It was
and
up here.
I think everyone's just
Yeah, it
using
was like
Andrew's
right here.
stuff
They're just
that he
using the
described
paper.
from
Yeah.
pictures,
Yep.
where he
Yeah.
never physically held a single bone ever in his life.
It's not too high, but
Yeah. I don't know if it's
So
going
we
to be
got
any
to
sort
get
of
you
bone
invited
bean.
to Spain. You'll have fun.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I'd love to go to Spain.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, Terrell's a neat town. It's all walled city.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool. It really is. The original story of Romeo and Juliet's based on a couple in Terrell.
Really?
Yep. I've seen the balcony, the
Yeah.
real balcony.
Romulans and Capulets? Yeah.
And what else? Oh, Ferdinand the Bull, that Disney film.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they've got this spire in the middle of the town square with this little bronze bull, and that's Ferdinand.
Really?
And the story comes from Terrell.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's an
Out
old
there
one.
with damn, getting his name. The old director, not director. Anyway, out there, having him telling us about like the Spanish Revolution, the war.
Spanish Civil War, yeah.
And, the bombing flights coming through.
yeah.
They're just strafing this area. This, it says, yeah, Ernest Hemingway was here, and and we figure this is where he was hunkered down. During some of the battles as a reporter, and it's really cool. You're just like, man, this is
I'd love to
But
do
then you
field
go by
work.
castles that are 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
It's stretched for a kilometer. I mean,
It's nuts.
they're just ruins.
Yeah.
But they're just freaking gigantic. And I was like, how old? He said, yeah, we figured this is about 1,000 years
Jeez.
ago. This castle was built.
Oh yeah, those guys are
Just nuts.
vicious.
But you can shoot all the spaghetti westerns there because it looks just like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why it's so
Just
great
gotta
for
avoid
finding
pictures
fossils.
of the castles. you know.
Beautiful exposed rock.
Clint Eastwood, get out of that castle. But the little villages look just like villages
Made
in
in
Mexico.
Spain by Italians.
Yeah.
Hence the spaghetti part.
And about the southwestern U.S. and Mexico.
Oh, man, this is just
But that's why there's so many good fossils there.
Yep.
It really is.
It's the right kind of terrain.
And you can thank Franco for the fact that they wouldn't discover much of this stuff
Jeez.
100 years ago.
That's not like all of the fossils that just eroded away, and like there was nobody there to study them, and just think of what's been
One
lost.
dinosaur guy in Spain, when Franco got power, and it was so bad for science in general. The guy immigrated to Argentina
Ugh.
and was one of the founders of the program in Argentina. The dinosaur program.
That wouldn't be Florentino Amagino, would it?
No, it began with an S.
Huh.
Oh, what's his name? And I've got it. I've got papers by him.
Oh, that looks
Denver's
pretty
bibliography.
I wouldn't go any more than that yet. Mix it up.
But yeah, I just love the fact they wouldn't let them learn foreign languages. I think that's so
So
myopic.
nuts. Yeah.
What a myopic.
That's fascism for you.
I mean, I could see Trump pulling stuff like that. It's like, yeah, these fascist isolationists. No one's as good as Spain. Kept them out of the
Oh,
war,
yeah, what is that?
you know.
Globs of sugar.
Because otherwise, they're like, we're not joining the Germans. The Germans are pigs. We don't want to work with them. You know, I mean, we're the cultural elite. Aryans? No, Aryans are a lower form of life.
And not Sergio Leone, Arribos. No, we're talking about directors of museums or directors of like paleo programs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Luis Alcala.
Oh, okay.
The Terrell Museum for a
Uh-huh.
long time. He's still. Oh yeah, I just saw those flies going through your ankles.
Something. I can't work like this.
They're juicy.
Yeah, they're all over the place now.
Yeah, they're bad. They were that bad when I was trying to use the groover.
Yeah.
It was
They're like
awful.
every-
I was
yeah,
just like,
I know.
I'm trying to like make mistakes.
Yeah.
I've got business to do here, folks. I cannot live with this. Yeah, long pants, though. It protects me a lot more.
Yeah.
They haven't
Still
bitten
getting
you
your
yet,
socks. I've been bit on my socks.
Yeah.
Through the t-shirt on occasion. They will. They'll go right through these t-shirts.
They go right through my socks.
Jeez.
Yeah, go right through your socks.
Incredible.
Right through the t-shirt. Evil little bastards. This is the worst I've ever seen them.
Language. We're live right now.
Oh, sorry.
This is a family friendly.
Yeah,
The flies are pretty bad right now,
They're
folks.
evil.
They are.
Yeah.
The flies are bad.
Worthy of some swear words, I
yeah.
suppose.
This is the worst they've ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, they're generally you got a couple, in the quarry total, and then you swat it, get them, and then there is none for a while.
I've never been bitten by a fly out here until this summer. Normally they're just like,
Yeah,
you
there's
see
a
a
lot
few
of
of them
them
every
this year.
day, and one of them will like land on your leg,
The wet
and you'll
spring?
just swat it
Yeah.
like instinctively, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, you weren't trying to bite me.
Yeah.
They're just happy to see another multicellular life form out here. It's not a plant.
I know. It's like I want to take a couple pictures, and my camera keeps saying you're too hot. And I got my specimen. Let's see.
They're like, hello, fellow metazoan. Ah!
Yeah, look at that.
But now they're actually, yeah, look at these guys. Ugh.
I just got 2 of them.
Yeah.
New
They're
record.
awful. It's funny how year to year stuff like that can vary, Let's get these population booms. Maybe there's like
They're
a,
not gonna have flies, but usually they're not for beggars.
yeah, these are, I don't know what they are, but they're,
Evil.
yeah.
They're evil.
Maybe there's like, there's a
They're
dead
small.
elephant
They
just over
got
the
they got
ridge
a
or
short
something.
fly personality.
No, but there might be like, maybe there's a big carcass nearby or something, and then they had a population boom because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm betting it's more like a wet spring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
But,
sense.
yeah,
it
what-
does seem a little bit greener out here than it has been in previous
We
years.
had a pretty wet spring this year.
Yeah, we had the same thing in
It broke
Wyoming.
the drought. The drought has broke over the whole state.
Nice.
First time there's been no drought counties in a long time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, we've had some water this year, which is probably the explanation.
Yeah.
It's probably been 20 years since it's had this much water in the spring. Pretty dry now. This is usually a little more thunderstorm. Yeah.
We gonna wrap up?
Yeah, I think we need to.
Oh, and shoot, Fisher, you've been jacketing it. I didn't even
Yeah.
put you on camera.
All good.
Nice. Looks
Get
good.
back down there. Wipe on that.
Stick
thing.
some
I wanna
candles
get
in that,
picture
you know?
wiping.
Okay.
Get on it.
Fisher. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Smile.
Woo, it's
Oh, yeah.
fun. Wee! I love plaster. I love bones from last year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah.
That's making me hungry, honestly. I want carrot cake now.
You want carrot cake
frosting?
now?
I mean, it looks like, you know, nice frosted carrot cake.
Oh, I see.
Danny, you want to get the lid on the plaster for me?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Gather up nice.
Get the oh, there. Yeah,
Thanks, man.
you bet.
My pile there.
Yeah. Ah, these flies. Let me go ahead and wrap up the stream here.
There'll probably be a lot of swearing soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, you can
as soon
commence
as this
cussing
goes
as soon
off,
as I get up the hill here,
I'll
out of earshot. Let's see.
No, I don't feel much.
But yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us today, everybody. This has been awesome. Had a fun stream. I hope you had fun too. Let's see who else is live on Twitch right now, and we can do a raid here real quick. Put the shoulder strap on. There we go. Yeah. Let's see. Who else is live right now? Go away, flies. Ugh. Let's see. Let's go say hello to Science Streams. Excellent. Go to my channel here. Go to the chat. And raid Science_Streams. There we go. Not raid. It's autocorrect. Raid Science Streams. There we are. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I hope you had fun today. I certainly did too. This is a fun stream. I will not be streaming from here tomorrow. We're planning on taking a little mini road trip. We got to take Karen to her transport point anyway, so that she can go back to Arkansas and get ready for another semester of teaching med school. So we're going to take that opportunity to go visit some different fossil sites, and I will be doing a stream from there with any luck, as long as the equipment works. It's going to be good. So yeah, I hope to see you again tomorrow, everybody. But until then, you all take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your curiosity, for your questions. Thank you for your kind words and your enthusiasm, and for your financial support too. This would not be possible without you supporting this channel, supporting my mission of science outreach here. Thank you for making this happen. I appreciate that very sincerely. I'm looking forward to showing you some cool stuff tomorrow. We'll have some cool conversations about dinosaur science, about geology, about the history of life on Earth. So I hope you'll tune in for that. Till then, everybody, bye-bye, take care, and let's go check out Science Streams. I'll see you there.